Hello everyone, I'm Paul. I'm going to be teaching you Photoshop as part of the PR1 assignment. So this little video tutorial I'm going to do just now, I'm going to introduce you briefly to what's required, how to prepare for the assignment, and just general tips and techniques to look out for and some things to help you study. The first thing we're going to look at just now is the actual assignment itself. This is published on NetSchool in the course folder PR1 Image Editing. You'll notice that under course information you have three different folders: Photoshop, Illustrator and InDesign. So if you open up Photoshop, we have a PR1 assignment PDF. If you just click on that, and that will open up. So here you see all the information required, and we'll talk through just an overview of what you need to do. So you're going to be making a fictional movie poster, and you're required to be the main character in the poster, just like this one here below. And I'll show you some more examples, and I'll show you this one a little bit later as well, more in depth, so you understand what I'm actually looking for and what kind of skills you need to do this. So the movie poster will be constructed by you sourcing all your own images, either by shooting your own photographs to use or by sourcing them from stock free images websites. Now I'll talk you through as well what that means and where you can go and find them, and also to let you know that you may be able, you can hire a camera from the production desk if you need to go and shoot your own photographs if you don't have a camera yourself. Now if you're going to find your own photographs, I've mentioned here that Flickr is a valuable resource for free photographs. We'll look at that in this video as well. The requirements for your assignment is you must have 3 images for your overall poster. So again, if you just refer to this one here, if you think about the person, the student who's the main character, we have a cityscape that's been blended into the sort of top half of her head to make it look like some kind of dream. And we've got a really nice background made up of clouds and these birds flying around. So it's a very nice poster telling a nice story of some kind of dreamy landscape or some kind of romantic movie. You're also required to have a movie title, your name, the date, the day and month and the year. Now, more importantly, all images that you use must be referenced in your document stating the source of the image, and the poster must be done by creating a text in your document named image sources within your movie poster file. Also, I'll show you how that looks later on in the tutorial. I'll explain this as well. And any images that are not sourced correctly or named will result in your assignment being failed, okay? So for example, you can't go away and take the face of a famous actor or a famous actress and just put it in because you don't have the copyright. The next part we're going to look at is the size, which must be A4. The resolution must be 300 ppi, pixels per inch. Now this is very important. This means it needs to be a very high resolution file, as in order to print any material from Photoshop, we must use this resolution. If we're going to do anything for screen, anything for the web, we will normally work about 72 ppi. And the reason that is because at 72 ppi, that's the resolution our screens actually show us the media. However, if we're going to print it, we need to put a lot more colour information in the document. So we need to have at least 300. Now you'll learn more about this in InDesign and also Illustrator, and I'll also talk a bit more about that in the classes. Colour mode must be CMYK, and it should be 8-bit. Okay, so just please make sure you read through the rest of the instructions here. I'm not going to bore you in this tutorial. I just want to get you started, just to get you looking in the right places and point out the main things. Here's also another very interesting poster that was done last year with the student, landscape in the background, some complementary images and some really nice text. Now also, when you come to class, you'll be working on your projects, but outside class we're asking you to look at this really interesting course, from Adobe Know-How, which is Adobe Photoshop CC Complete Beginner Guide. So this is some extra online video tutorials that you can watch in your own time as a way to understand and develop better knowledge of the tools and the functionalities that Photoshop has. So the course itself introduces you to Photoshop, navigating, customizing the workspace, etc, etc. So there's some really nice tutorials in there, and I'd expect you to look at them, to try your own workout, to also look at the tutorials that I'm going to be doing in class with you, and to practice some of the extra tools that you'll learn how to use in this tutorial set, and hopefully then you'll be able to design a really brilliant poster. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is how you prepare for your assignment. So the best thing to do is to start looking on the internet and to see some really nice examples. This one here I think is a brilliant illustration of how easy it is for you to complete the assignment. We have a really nice portrait shot here of this actor, Jake Gyllenhaal, I think the guy's name is, and superimposed onto his head is a cityscape. Okay, it's blended really nicely, and then we have a spider here. So that kind of tells a story about some kind of science fiction type movie. So it's as simple as that. I want you to study movie posters and to come up with a kind of system like this. So you might be inspired by this poster, then you need to go away and plan it. You need to say to yourself, what do I actually need to complete the assignment? I need a picture of myself or my friend, I need a cityscape, and I need this complementary image of this spider or this ghost or whatever. So go away and plan it out. Now what we'll do next is we'll go and look at some movie posters on the internet and get some inspiration. Now we'll look on the internet for some inspiration and to help us plan how we can create our assignment. So I've just put in a simple search for cool movie poster design, sorry. And you can see we've got a lot of brilliant examples coming up. There's the one we looked at already. Really nice design. This one's also very interesting and quite doable for yourself to do. Think about how you can take a picture of yourself or maybe one of your friends, create this nice texture in between, and maybe add some other elements in if you thought that would enhance it. It's also quite an interesting, easy one to do there. And you'll see a lot of the posters we're looking at today use quite a lot of the same techniques, where you see a silhouette of a person and a lot of the story happening inside the silhouette. This one's also a really nice example, fairly easy to do as well if it's planned well. If you think about what we have here, we've got a nice portrait shot, we've got a picture of the White House and a lot of different other elements in here. So this suggests, to me, it's probably a comedy. There's a lot of things going on, there's a lot of chaos in there. Quite interesting. Again, that's a brilliant one. The good, the bad and the ugly. Same as before, same kind of technique with the silhouette of the body. However, please make sure that you're in the picture yourself. What else do we have? That's a brilliant poster here. I really like the way the gun has been used. I really like the text and the muted colours. We have a nice cityscape. So even if you haven't seen this film, you've got a really good idea of what it's about. And there's another version of it. Another version. And again, same type of idea. Instead of a gun, it's using the figure 9 or the number 9. A nice retro one here. So hopefully you get the idea. You see a lot of similarities there. Choose something you think you can manage, go and plan it out, and then go and shoot it. think what you need to do, you need to have a portrait of yourself, maybe your friend. You can maybe put some kind of effects on it. You can find some nice textures and take your time. You don't have to finish this within 2 weeks. You have till the end of the block, and if you ever want to make an appointment as well out with your Photoshop class, feel free to do so. Now let's look at movie poster cliches just quickly. So as I said, you see a lot of designers use the same principles and the same composition for similar type of movies. So as you can see, these are mostly kind of romantic movies, use the same type of colours, these kind of like warm yellows from the back, often with a weapon. So these type of horror movies increase the sense of fear, in a sense, in the audience, where we don't know who this character is. They're holding a weapon at their back. They're always pretty much here dressed in black and very, very dark, very, very darkly lit. Big text on faces. You can see some of the romantic movies use the same type of styles. There's also another cliche, a romantic movie as well. A couple of people in bed, through their legs, big eye, and the nature ones using a lot of blue, running for their lives, these kind of action thriller type movies. So again, take some cues, study how these work. I really like this example here the next 3 days. Study some of these and see if you can actually do your own version. Now we'll look at some student examples in Photoshop. And the reason I like to do this is not only just to show you some of the really amazing work that the students have done previously, but it's to also show you what I'm looking for when we grade the assignment. So we can see here the example we saw in the assignment earlier on with the student. She has herself, a nice photograph there, a really nice blended landscape superimposed into the head or the top of the image. We have this nice sky or clouds or smoke also blended into the top of the image here, and these birds. So everything really works together. The overall colour balance is really nice. Nice use of text. There could be some little things that could maybe be adjusted. Perhaps this little feature in here isn't so clear. But nevertheless, what I look for is all the different uses of tools. So I can see in your layer panel here how well you can manage the functions and the tools of Photoshop just by clicking through. So you can see here it's all very, very, very organized. There's a lot of different tricks and parts being used, a lot of different things like adjustment layers, which we'll talk about in class. And there's lots of little elements being added in, and I really like the way it's been organised by making the folders, which again is very, very important when you're working in a design studio. That if you're working with other people, you need to be very, very organised and name all your folders in case somebody else is working on it and then want to know exactly where the media that you're working on is located. Here's another very interesting one here. Now what I want to draw your attention to here also is there's not so much, although this is a really, really nice poster with a nice portrait shot here that blends in very well to the sky, there's not a huge amount of work here that I can see that demonstrates a brilliant command of the tools. So although it's a really nice poster on the surface, I want to see more work in there, I want to see more tricks. Now again, this is a really nice poster here. A lot of different elements been added in. Now one thing I do when I'm actually grading the assignments is I will turn the layers on, turn the layers off in order to, for example, let me see here, to see how well you use the selection tools. And you can tell by that it could be a little bit better. So although on the surface the poster looks fantastic as it is, I need to look behind the scenes and to see how well you're dealing with some of these parts, okay? And you can see maybe areas in there of the plane that should have been taken out that have just been left. Now you might not think that's really important, but it takes up data at the end of the day, and we want you to get into the good habits of being as professional as you can. I really like this poster, this one's been handed in last year, and what I like about this is the student has photographed himself twice, so one straight on and one from the side. She's found some really interesting elements to use, like the road and the landscape. Really good use of colour balance, and she has a gun here, which hopefully it's not hers, but nevertheless it still adds into the story of the poster. Again, another good example. And this one here, I think this reminds me of one of the posters we looked at earlier on called Perfume, where the person is blending into the background here. So I think this is really, really nice about how the person here is blending into the kind of woods, and some really, really nice effects in there. You can see she's put it in a layer called dispersion effects. A lot of work done. Okay, so hopefully now you'll see what I'm asking you to do more in depth. Now what we'll do is we'll look at some stock free images and where to find them. Now here we are in Flickr, which is a great resource for images and for publishing images if you're a photographer. But a really interesting new feature to this is the comments. So if you have an account with Flickr, or if you don't, you can simply create an account, and I'd ask you to navigate to this part here called the comments, which is where photographers will publish their photographs, but they don't want to retain any copyright from them. So essentially they give them away for free. So perhaps we're looking for a landscape. I can type that in here. Maybe look at this one. If that was something I would like to use for my movie, I could simply then go to the download button and I can check the size. Now that gives me a good indication that's quite a big image. So it's 3000 by 2004 pixels. It's downloading, and I'll just check that when I open it up here, and if I right click on it I can go to the properties and I can get the information on it. So that's 3000 pixels and 300 dpi, which is suitable for the purposes of making the poster. Okay, so please have a look around, just do some searches. If you need landscape, if you need cityscape, there's some really interesting pictures on Flickr for you to look at. Also another good resource, if you type in free stock photographs or stock free photographs, we can see a lot of different possibilities coming up. Now just be careful, because some of these will ask you first of all to sign up and to put in a payment plan, and then you cancel it. Don't do that. This one here is ideal. Bootstrappy.bay, I think there's 21 different sites within here that it actually archives for you. Let me see what we have. Maybe we might choose that one. So that's 5938 pixels. So it looks like quite a big image. If we download that, and let's see the size of it. Properties. Okay, although it's quite a large image, it's only 72 dpi. So that's probably too small. Well, that will be too small to use for your actual image. So a good tip to use is when you're searching for images, try and search for images that are 300 dpi or ppi. That's dots per inch or pixels per inch. So you always want a high resolution image. Now let me introduce you to Adobe Know-How. So here we are on Adobe Know How homepage, which is a whole lot of training tutorials. As you can see, we have creating yourself a stunning PR profile picture, Photoshop Elements, Adobe Lightroom, HTML Basics, an hour of code for free, and programming for beginners. So perhaps some of these are maybe of interest to you. But the one we want you to look at as part of this course is the Photoshop CC, Your Complete Beginner's Guide. Okay, so let's look at it. Now I need to remind you, you need to make an account with Adobe in order to get access to this material. So as I've put in the assignment, there are all the parts that you'll be learning in the tutorial, and this will just really help you try different things out, give you new information on some of the tools, to introduce you to kind of techniques that I might not show you in class, but you can try them out on your own, bring them to class, and we can discuss and we can help you complete your assignment, hopefully to be an amazing poster. So this is a 5 hours course. Now over the course of 7 weeks, it's not so long, and you can see the way that the chapters are running. It's 15 minutes, 38 minutes, or 41 minutes. So it's very, very easily doable within the time scale set. You don't need to do it all at once. You can do, for example, this one night, and also you might just look over it again 2 or 3 times. So the course itself introduces you to many, many different techniques. This one's very interesting here. If you are a photographer and you're trying to create your own photographs, this is a very good example of how you can compress or how you work with these raw images, which are very, very high resolution files. You can see here in chapter 6, the selection tools, dodge and burn, clone stamp. Now I'll just open up one of the, let me see, I'll open up one of these to see how it looks. So here we are.
In this tutorial, we're learning a new tool, the clone tool, which is a tool we can use to actually copy and paste a part of an image, the image, from one spot to the other.
Okay, so there is the training video within a training video. So please make sure you create an account, you look at the tutorial material from Adobe Know How, and please let me know how you get on with that in class. Now the last thing we're going to do just now is to look at how you set up your assignment or your document. Now just a little reminder of the assignment itself. So we have to make a fictional movie poster, 3 images, movie title, name and date. Now as I said in the assignment here, all images used must be referenced within your document stating the source of the image. This must be done by creating a text layer in the document named image sources within your movie poster file. So if you've got stock free images or you've got your own photographs, you need to explain to me or tell me where that you actually got them. So if we look at Photoshop now, we'll find a document here. And this is on Netschool for you. This is a kind of checklist of all the things you need. So you need 3 images, image 1, image 2, image 3. Now obviously these are not images, this is just for you to keep yourself right and to make sure you have all these things itemized in your final document. So you need to have a title, you need to have your name and the date of the movie. Now these are the requirements for your assignment. It must be A4, this is A4, it must be 300 ppi, colour mode must be CMYK and 8-bit. Final document must be saved as a PSD and all layers named and visible. So this is all your layers here and they're all named and they're all visible. Okay. Now at the top we're going to have a layer called image sources and you're required to turn this off. Okay, so any images that are not, sorry, when you finish your movie poster you'll turn off the image source layer. So that is this layer here. Okay. So within this layer, I just want you to write simply within text, image 1, and here is a link to where I found that image. So if you found that on Flickr, just put a web link into wherever you got that. Image 2, if you found that on let's see, StockSnap, just write in the hyperlink as to where you found that image. And image 3, if you took that photograph yourself, just say that you took it yourself. That's all that's required. So thank you very much for listening and watching the tutorial. Hopefully you understood my Scottish accent, and please let me know if you've got any questions. I'll be making 2 other video tutorials for you to do in your own time, and you can also do them in class. But please prepare accordingly. Be creative, go and find some really nice images. If your first poster doesn't work out, it doesn't matter, just try again. Please let me know how you've got on, let me see what you're doing, and I'd love to help you out as much as I can, and I'm really looking forward to meeting you all over the course of Block B. Thanks very much, bye bye.